Well, hello, stitchy friends. It's Lori here from Being My Bonnet, and I am here with episode number 22 of my FlossTube, and I'm excited to be here. It's been 8 months, but I've still been stitching, and my stitchy friend Christy, she's coming to visit me in a bit, and so that means, you know, we have more stitchy plans, and I've been getting more of my cross stitch finishes together, getting ready to go to the framers. And so I wanted to show you my finishes that I've showed you as finishes, but not as framed. So, and then other finishes I have, other WIPs that you've seen before, my progress on them, and then new WIPs. So I thought I would just quickly hop on here this afternoon and give you a little video and progress of what I've been doing with my stitching. So this is Miss Mildred Lucy Butterfield Crane. This is my heritage sampler for my grandma, and I showed this to you finished, but I did not show it to you framed. So these are all of the things that I have framed myself that I got from Hobby Lobby since my last video when I showed you, my video tutorial on how I frame. So let me grab the card out of here and give you some info on this. Let's see. So I stitched this on 36 count solid caramel by number 12 Stitch Company, and I used pomegranate Gloriana silk. This is the Americana Red sampler by October House, and I know you've seen this many times, but I'm happy to have her finished and then framed and on my wall. And now, since I got her finished, then I got my mom's finished and framed too, because I kind of go down in order. So I'm going to show you my heritage samplers first, and I thought I'd start with the biggest ones. So I'm going to have to step in and out of camera just to show these to you. But this is for my Grandpa Crane, and this is Quaker Village Sampler by Happy Mood Point. And I stitched this on 36 count Cafe au Lait by Fiber on a Whim. And I used the Chester's Blue Silk in the Belle Soie. And so I like the dark frame on this one. This was really fun. I know I showed this to you finished and all the personalization that I did, but happy to have this one framed on my wall as well. So the next one I've got is this one by Marjorie Massey, and this is Traditional Folk Sampler, and this is my mom's. And I know I've shown you this one too and talked about all the little details that I changed and what I stitched with, but my library card that I keep on the back tells me this little info, so I'll pass that along. And I stitched this on 36 count Everything Else by Mystic Fabrics, and with the Schwadige 946 silk. All finished and framed. I love these little carvings on these frames that look vintage. I think it just really lends to, the finishing of the cross stitches. I'm going to try not to move too fast. I have a tendency to do that when I have a lot to show you. I love the frame on this one. So this one is a little Quakeresque by Blue Ribbon Designs, and this is for my great-grandpas. So I have all 4 of my great-grandpas on here, and I stitched it on 36 count Boston Tea Party by Legacy Fiber Art, and I stitched with the MPI silk, the needlepoint silk, in 746. Love it, love it. I think I chose this frame for another one I have coming up too, but I can't remember. It's not framed yet. Just giving you a little bit of a close-up, trying not to make you seasick. Okay. I'm also grabbing that, hopping up and down on a chairs because I have been having problems with keeping things in view while I film. So I am on a chair so I can see exactly what's in the shot. So I'm going up and down on a chair, just so you know. All right, so this is Home Sweet Home by Modern Folk Embroidery, and this is for my grandma, my dad's mom, my grandma Yule, Ida Marie Salzetti Yule. And I stitched this on 36 count as per usual. And this linen is from Michelle at Farm Girl Dry Goods. And I belong to her linen club. And this, before she started naming them, she just numbered them. And this was linen number 2. And I stitched this with a Gloriana silk, Schoolhouse Red. I love the size of this. This frame is deep frame. It's kind of cool looking. I love that. I love Jacob's designs. So this was really fun to pick one of his for one of my heritage samplers. And okay, so while I have more finishes to show you, more framed finishes, but while I'm talking about my heritage samplers, I thought I would just kind of like talk about them all at the same time. So this is my Grandpa Crane sampler that I finished, and it's all ready to frame. So I'm going to take it to the framers, which is again why I decided I better do a floss tube now before I took them and wasn't able to show you my finishes and then put them in a frame and then put them on the wall and then forgot. Because it's been 8 months since I did my last floss tube, I actually had to watch my last one to see what I did show you and what I didn't show you and then write down my notes. So I knew exactly what I needed to, you know, take off my wall. And so this is, let me get the info out of my bag. I know I've talked to you about it before, but if you have not seen my past ones, this is by Carriage House Samplings, excuse me, and it's Matter's Choice. And then I personalized it as per usual a little bit, and let's see, what did I stitch this on? Let me find my info, see if I wrote it down. My library card is misplaced for some reason. It's not, so I'm not sure. I know I've said that in the past though, like I said, when I've been showing it to you, but I did some personalization on this one. I talked to you about him being a cattle rancher, and so I wanted to add some cattle here, some cows, and how he always wore his cream colored Stetson, so I wanted to put that somehow in here. And I decided that I could fit it right on top of these cows. So I thought that was kind of fun. Let's see, I did do the rose in the center because he loved roses. I did the deer that was in the chart. I did the bees that were in the chart. Did the squirrels, you know, because that's all. He was a deer hunter, camper, squirrel, outdoorsman, beekeeper, all of that stuff. He had, he kept cherry trees in his backyard. Loved those, so I added some cherries. I added another tree in there. And because this was a little bit wider than the birds that were on here, I just kind of adjusted this a little bit. Used the same motif, but just kind of did a little bit of adjusting. And then down here, I did the full alphabet and the numbers, and then I added a fish because he was a fisherman. He had a boat and he loved to go out on the lake and fish. I added this dollar sign here because not only was he a cattle rancher, but he was an accountant too. And he was a CPA for Kennecott Copper here in Utah for 36 years. So I just kind of added that in there to represent that. And his name was Walter Leon Ewell Sr. And he was born in 1908, and I miss my grandpa. But I'm happy to have this sampler. And I love that it's on my wall with all of my other heritage samplers, and I just keep adding to them. Okay, and then so what I've got here is in this bag that Christy made me, as per usual, of course. This is my dad's. So since both of my grandfathers are finished, I'm gonna do my dad's, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to do here. It's either going to be this larger one, so I can fit a lot more motifs, or this smaller one, but I'm liking, a lot of them have the same similar motifs, which is garden. My dad's a gardener. He's the one who taught me to garden. Of course, I grew up on a farm, so I learned all the things about growing things from my dad, and that's something that we still have in common. And so I really want his sampler to kind of represent him. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do this one and then maybe take some of the motifs out and replace them with some of these. I don't know. I just thought maybe I'd put them both in the bag, choose the linen, choose the blue silk that I want to use, and go from there. And so I'll be showing you that progress on my next floss tube and what I chose. So I'll be starting that, and then I usually have 2 heritage samplers going at once. And so I, of course, have mine because my mom, both of my grandmas are finished, and now my mom. And so this is the one I started that I told you about, but I don't think I showed you the start, but I did tell you that this is what I was doing. And this one is by October House as well. And it's Americana Blue. And I am stitching it. Let me find my library card. I've been lost without my library cards. That's all my info. I stitched this on 36 count, One More Reproduction by Be Stitch Me. And I'm using the 2645 silk Soige. Love it, love it. So I did do a bigger alphabet, kind of a little bit more chunky, because the main reason, let me show you this picture again. Let me grab it. I put it away. Okay. I just had it. As I rifle through my bags. Anyway, as you know, I like to personalize my samplers, and so the original had, okay, here we go, here's the picture. The original had the alphabet on 3 lines going across here. I wanted to be able to fit the alphabet all on 1 line right here, but I'm still missing the Z. So not sure how I'm going to do that, but I'll probably just end up putting the Z over here. I might continue on and do numbers because I like to, and then I can just pull the whole thing down a little bit, right? And add another piece to the side here. I can elongate it, make it a little bit bigger. But there's a lot of quilting things in here, which represents me very well, but I'd like to be able to customize a few spots, a few little things. And so that's just kind of my reasoning for that. I was trying to fit that alphabet on there. Still missing the Z though, but I also thought that I could make it a little bit wider and add the Z here. I put a mark here. I'll end up taking that out, but I took a mark here where the chart ended. But, you know, I have a little bit of room. I know I started here close to the edge, but that's okay. I might be able to add a Z here and just extend this out, continue this border out, you know, and do something a little bit different that way. So we'll see. But that's my plans on my heritage samplers. And so then, let's see, what do I want to show you next? Let's get a few things up here. I wanted to show you this because this is one of my new patterns that published after, you know, that I did my last floss tube. And so, I'm just gathering these here together so that I've got them all together and I don't forget one. These are my framed pieces. But I wanted to show you this one because, you know, of course I put it on Instagram, but I did not do a floss tube since this was released. But this is my vintage sampler I don't get to show you my cross stitch patterns finished very often if I don't stitch them. Most of the time I have a model stitcher, and so I don't have them in my possession at the time. But because I stitched this, I was the model stitcher on that one, then I've got it. And I use this cute frame that I've used before, and I've used it one more time. I have one more to show you finished that I used this frame from Hobby Lobby. This frame they have there, they have in like 2 or 3 different colors, and I love it. I think it's so pretty. I love the aging on it and the different colors that they have. And so what I did with this is when I was at Quilt Market last year, then Valdani, they're just so sweet at Valdani. They approached me and asked me if I would be interested in working with them and doing a pattern using their flosses. And so I did, and I chose some. They sent them over to me, and these are the Valdanis that I used for this. And I stitched it on 36 count latte and by Fiber on a Whim. And I love how this turned out. It was so fun to stitch. And I love the Valdani threads, how they just kind of lend to the vintage look, right? The finish of them. I really, really like that. So that's the vintage sampler. So I wanted to show you that. And then I also wanted to show you that I can't show this to you framed because it's huge and it's on my bedroom wall, but I've shown you this finished but not framed. I did frame it. It's on my bedroom wall and it's high up. I have cathedral ceilings in my bedroom and it's very high up above my bed. So I'll take some pictures of it and I'll do a slideshow at the very end of this video, you know, and put it at the end so you can see how it looks framed and on my wall. But of course, this is my Consider the Lilies that was designed by Beth Twist, Heartstring Samplery. So I did get that one framed. Haven't showed it to you yet, but again, it's going to have to be a wall shot. And then this one is Be Happy, Humble, and Kind. I stitched this with Christy. Let me grab my library card and I'll give you the info on it. And I stitched it on 36 count T-set Wabi Sabi linen. That's by Kitten Stitcher. And I stitched with overdyed threads for my stash. I just wanted it to match my home and the blues and everything in there. Added a beehive, you know, a few things, but I love it. I love it, love it. And I love the blue frame, the color of the teal. I love how the teals and the blues all go together. I often use teals and blues, denim blues and teals together in my fabric design because I love those hues. And so this was really fun to stitch. So that's Be Happy, Humble, and Kind. And of course it's on my bee wall because it's got bees and a beehive on it. And then here's this other one that I just said that I used that same frame. So this is Caroline Amelia Trowell by Brenda Gervais, and it's a reproduction sampler, but I turned mine into Anne Harrison Holt because that's our ancestor, and I just love it. And again, I love it in this frame. Stitched it on 36 count antique lace by Seraphim, and I stitched for some of the called for and some not. You know, I always have to change things according to the linen that I'm using. I just grab linen from my stash. I have plenty of linen from my stash because I love, love, love linen. So I usually don't use the called for linen. I just grab one that I think looks like it, and then I throw the threads on there and see what's going to show up on it the best. And so that is Caroline Amelia Trowell, all framed, aka Anne Harrison Holt. And got a couple more to show you. I'm going to try not to bump the table because these are big ones. Let me just set that there. Get on the chair and make sure it's in view as much as it can be. This one this Come to the Garden I'll show you next. But these are both by Teresa Kogut. And I think if I move this up just a little bit, you might be able to see the whole thing. Yeah, there we go. Again, I've shown you this finished, just not framed. And so, love this. This is Land That I Love. I was stitching on this for a long time. I picked like a bluish black frame that I love. Sometimes it looks black, sometimes it looks blue, but it's definitely blue. And I love this. This is hanging on the wall in my library with my Americana things. Let me grab my stitch card out so I can tell you what I stitched on, because I cannot remember. Oh, it's 36 count platinum by Weeks Dye Works. And I used mostly the called for, just a few changes, again, just so that it would show up on the linen that I had chosen. And so there's that. And then let me slide this one in here. I shouldn't say slide, it's very heavy, so kind of pick it up and put it in. And put this one away. I have to remember to put the library cards back in so they don't get misplaced. Okay. Stand it on the chair so I can see if you can see the whole thing. Yes, you can. Okay, look at this one. Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut, like I said, again. And I know that I used mostly the called for. I used all the same hues. I might have went a little bit darker or a little bit lighter in some of them, just so that it would show up on my linens. But I loved the color combination so much that I did not want to change that. It reminds me of a fall garden. I mean, could be spring. I mean, it's got strawberries in it and things, but just the colors look fall to me. And I love this frame, the warm wood of this oak, and then this little inset here that's carved. I've been really pleased with the Hobby Lobby frame choices. I mean, of course, I always want a ton of choices, right? But I feel like they have quite a bit. And so I stitched this on 36 count Milk and Honey. And again, that's Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut. And so that is all of my framed pieces that I had not shown you framed. But now I have a lot of finishes to show you that I'm going to go get frames for, which is what made me say, okay, you've got to do this FlossTube. You got to get something going here. Okay, I'm going to put this stack here and we'll just unstack it. So I did show this on Instagram. This is Honest Abe. Let me look how fun. Let me pull him out so I can show you. This is by Miss Prim. He's Abe Lincoln. I guess he's not called Honest Abe. The pattern's called Abe Lincoln, but he is called Honest Abe. But it says, oh, honestly, Abe, which I think is darling. And then it says freedom down here. And love that. I'm going to finish him just like that. Just like that, with the little pillow, and stand him up, you know, on the bookshelf in my library or something. I don't know, but he's been living in this quilted bag, that quilted bag. And then I'll probably switch him out and start George Washington. I know I started him or on the day of or the week of or around President's Day. And so I'll do the same thing with George Washington or Betsy Ross or Miss Prim. I've showed you the other ones that I wanted to do. Miss Prim has some amazing, you know, Americana, the presidents I really want to do. And there's Martha Washington too. So there's that. And then I have other patriotic stuff in this bag, of course, that, again, the Ultimate Bag Maker, Christy, did for me. Let's see what we've got. Oh, I've already got the pattern out here. Okay, so this is Faded Flag right here. And I think I showed you that I was going to do this, and I actually did it. Haven't finished it into this cute little pillow yet, but this is October House. And I like how it says a skinny mini pattern. That's so cute. And it was just a quick stitch. And of course I did it very quickly. And then I downloaded this as a freebie from Lori at Not Forgotten Farms. And you know how much I love her stuff. And so this is, let me read on here. I know it's not called Grand Old Flag. It's called Flag Maker. Okay, and so that's a freebie that I downloaded, oh, I don't know, a couple years ago, and I finally just did it. But you can just go onto her website, and every once in a while she does some really amazing freebies, and so you can get that. And the one thing that I did do to that, it seems like, let me look at the chart. Oh yeah, now I remember. I did add some scissors right here and this tall bobbin thing. I love this. I love this chair. Anyway, so that'll be put into a pillow. You know, we're still into, even though 4th of July is over, we're still full into 4th of July here because we, our Utah birthday is the 24th of July. And so, you know, we celebrate the whole month of July. Oh, that's a start I've got. Let me show you about that in a minute. But this, I did get blue skin finished. And blue skin is George Washington's horse, or was George Washington's horse. Got that one finished, and I am going to put him in a frame. I already have the frame chosen, just have to pick it up. And the information on him is I stitched him. No, that's Lincoln's Eagle. That's what that is. Wrong one, wrong library card. Here we go. That's what happens when you put multi-projects in a bag. Okay, this is Blue Skin by Plum Street Samplers, and I stitched him on 36 count Nantucket Brew by R&R, and I did some thread changes. I think I just did this for my stash. You know, when I'm stitching red, white, and blue, I just have a lot of red, white, and blues in my bag, and then I can just, and then some neutrals and things like that, and then I can just go for it. And so that's Blue Skin. Hopefully there's not too big of a glare on that. And then this one that I have in the bag that I will continue on is, we'll put this out of the way, is Lincoln's Eagle. I think that's upside down right here by Teresa Kogut. And I've got that little start on the wing there on this side, and I'm stitching it on 36 count raw natural Edinburgh linen and by Zweigart, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So that's going to go with my Americana stuff too. So that's living in that bag. So that is a few finishes and one WIP there. Here's some other finishes. Oh, these are going to be fun to show you. You know, I've done a few animal crackers, and I know everybody out there is going crazy for the animal crackers, but these are a few that I've got finished. My animal crackers live in this bag here. I'll pull that out in a minute. I'm going to see if you guys will help me pick the next one that I want to do, because I'm not sure yet, because I want to do a lot of them. But this is Henrietta and this is Clementine. And so I need to fully finish them into their little outlines. They remind me of little paper dolls. So I'll get those finished. I need to have like a finishing weekend when I get a minute, a minute or two, and finish some things, and then I'll do a floss tube again and show you, you know, progress on some of the WIPs that I'm showing you now, showing you more progress, and I'm not going to wait another 8 months. I'll be doing some pillows and finishing. And so let's pull out what I got going on here. So I've got little quilty bags in here because I have several of the charts. So this is Henrietta. Okay, that's what she looks like. And in the pattern, you know what she looks like because I just showed you stitched, but look how fun. And yeah, when I finish them, I am going to add like a real button and do the strawberry and things like that. I just haven't done that. And then I did Whitaker already and shown you that. But I have several of these that I would love to do. And so I'm going to show them to you, and then you can tell me which one you think I should do next. So this is Clovis. This is Miss Hazel. I mean, look how all these are darling. I should move these out of the way and kind of stack these. So there's Clovis. Tell you your choices. You can tell me what I want to do. Miss Hazel. Percy, that snail. Look how cute. And wait, is that Nettie or Nettle? No, Nettle. That's so cute. And Jenny, I've wanted to, this was like one of the first ones that I bought, and I just never have done it. But this is a big contender because, you know, it's a chicken. Love the chickens, but I mean, I know I've already done one, but maybe she needs a friend, right? Here's Theodore. Maybe Clementine needs a friend. Theodore. This is Primrose. So cute. All these bunnies are so cute. I know Christy's doing the bunnies. She has this one done, Maggie May. So here's Maggie May. And this is Harriet. And then this is Scarlet, which I love so much. So out of those, maybe, I don't know, please leave me a comment. Tell me, what do you think? What should I start next? And then I'll go ahead and start it and then show you my progress on that. So those are fun finishes. Now I just need to fully finish them, right? But I like to keep like series all in one bag together. I think it's kind of fun. And then I just grab it and say, okay, which one am I going to do next? Whoops. All right. A couple more finishes. These are Christmas finishes. This is Miss Snow Fairy. Now, I know I showed you this start, but I never did show you any of my progress. So this is Miss Snow Fairy by Brenda Gervais. And this is my finish, and I've got a frame for her as well. And let me see what info I have on her. Let's see, I stitched her on 36 count Hazelwood by Fiber on a Whim, and I just used threads from my stash. Of course, I had to keep using different whites and stuff just to kind of test out and make sure. I picked a darker linen. I love that model linen, and that is, like I said, Hazelwood, and I love that with the little greens and stuff in there. And the sun's going behind the clouds here, so hopefully the lighting's okay that you can see. So that Christmas one is finished. And then this, I think this is my, yeah, I'm always switching bags, but yeah, this is from the Jingle Ball. Remember I did the Stacy Nash, this sewing book, or Neil Roll, whatever you want to call it. I finished stitching them. I just need to fully finish it. But, you know, I've got more linen and the wools and everything to do that. So I'll be finishing that up. And when I get back to my Christmas finishing, I'm gonna kind of go like this and see which lighting view is the best. But that was really fun stitch. So that was the Jingle Ball. And those are Christmas ones. I do have a couple of WIPs still of Christmas, but those are my Christmas finishes. All right, I did show this on Instagram. This is my sampler that I did for my Pioneer Heritage. And I've talked about that before. This is designed by Heartstring Samplery, and it's called Prairie Life Sampler. And she designed it, you know, in honor of Laura Ingalls Wilder, which of course was a pioneer, came across the plains in a covered wagon and things like that. So a lot of things in common with my ancestors as well. But I decided to do a lot of covered wagons just to represent all of that. Took out some of the motifs that were just specific to Little House on the Prairie and kept the ones in that were specific for all pioneers, and then added as many as I could. I mean, I jam-packed that thing full. As many as I could motifs that had to do with my pioneer ancestors who came here into the Salt Lake Valley in 1847. And love how it turned out. And this is another one that I'm taking to get framed. And so I wanted to show it to you. And if I can find my library card, I'll give you a reminder of what I stitched on. This on 36 count fresco by Picture This Plus. And I just used over-dyed flosses for my stash. You know, lots of Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works, and things like that. Love it. Love it, love it. So that will be going so that I can pick out a frame. Then these, let's see, I've got 1, 2, sitting right here that are wedding samplers. I also showed you this. This has been living in this vintage double wedding ring quilting bag. This is a picture of my mom and dad. Wedding picture from 1958, and this is their sampler. And it's finished. And so I did show this again, like I said, on Instagram, but if you don't follow me on Instagram, then here's my finish. And I just took out, there were some cherubs up here, and I just put their date in here and their initials here. Kept everything. Love this. I wish I was a little seed. I'd grow and grow and grow. I'd twine myself around your heart and never let you go. And I just felt like it really represented my parents. The red brick house, all the farm animals, the flowers, just everything. So super happy with that. I'll probably tuck that picture, even though I have a picture of them displayed, of their wedding picture in my bedroom. I probably will tuck that behind the frame. But let me tell you, on my card, it says, it reminds me what I stitched it on. So I stitched this on 36 count vintage by number 12 Stitch Company. And I stitched with all the called for except just a few changes, it said. So nothing major, just something so that it showed up on the linen, or was maybe a color that went in my bedroom, or my mom's favorite color or something. Okay, so this is my next wedding sampler, and it's mine and Mr. Honey's. So I've already shown you the one I did by Blackbird Designs, which is Oh Joyous Day. That was for Carrie's parents' wedding sampler, and that's already in my bedroom hanging. And so then I started on my parents and mine. And so I wanted 3 wedding samplers in my bedroom, both of our parents and then ours. And so this is ours finished. And this is by Barbara Anna Designs, and it's Love Never Fails. And I stitched it on 36 count Abecedarian linen by R&R, and I stitched with DMC. And I did make some changes. I kind of kept with a lot of the same colorway. Let me make sure you're seeing all of this. I kept with a lot of the same colorway, but I didn't want the super white pale skin. I wanted more the flesh tone and things like that, just a little bit more modernized, even though I love this because obviously I picked it to stitch for our sampler. And I just think I love it. This scripture, you know, we used it in our wedding. And when I saw that, I just thought, yeah, that's the perfect wedding sampler for us. So that's a finish, and that's another one. I got a lot of frames to pick out. I don't know if I should take them all at once. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming when you're picking so many at the same time. But I have 2 more that I'm taking to the framer, so I may split them up, just take a few. It takes a couple, 3 weeks for them to come back, so then maybe I'll just go back and, you know, get that framed. This is not a finish. This is a WIP. Let me show you that in a minute. I put that in my pile, in my WIPs pile. I'll show you that. That's my Sabbath stitch, but this is a finish. So excited. Okay, this is my Garden Club series. Got a little thread hanging out there. This is my Garden Club series by Blackbird Designs, and you know, if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been stitching on this for a while. And I really wanted to get it done. There's 12 different patterns, and you do it on, these are all my scraps left over, because you know I'm probably going to do something with them, little covered buttons or something. And it's the sample, you don't have to do it this way, and a lot of people haven't, and it's beautiful. But I wanted mine patchwork, and the sample is just stitched on a bunch of different linens. And then there's 12 different cards. And then in the 12th one, it shows you the picture of their finished one and just tells you how they did it. And so I've got it ready to go to the framer's measure. I just have to measure from here to here. It's kind of not exactly the same, because that's not how theirs is either, like even. So I just kind of have to do an average measurement, and I want to go get a really pretty wood frame made for that. But I think it's so fun trying to stay out of the shadow on that side. It helps to be able to stand on the chair just so I can see exactly what's in the screen. Can't do that when I'm doing my quilting videos because I can't stand on a chair and do the sewing machine. But this one, at least, I can stand up. Yeah, I don't know if it really looks good in that view, but trying to give you several different views so you can kind of see the colors and the stitching. Isn't this fun though? I love it how it's just like perfectly imperfect. Like some of the seams matched up, some of them didn't, some of them, I just love this. And you know, it's got a beehive on it. It's going to go on my bee wall. It's a garden, you know, sampler, obviously. Well, and so it's going to go there. So I'm excited. So next floss tube, I can show that to you all framed. And okay, so now I can show you WIPs. Those are all my finishes, I believe, unless I put something in a stack that I wasn't supposed to. But here's my WIP, here's my Sabbath stitch. So I've made some progress on that. And this one is, let's see, I'm keeping my threads in there. This is the Beatitudes by Little House Needleworks. This is what it looks like. Isn't that cute? But I'm going to do a little bit of customizing down there. Instead of the people, I think I'm going to add more sheep because I talked about that last time. Kept saying, I think I might want to add more sheep. And then I was like, apparently that's what I want to do. So, and I'm stitching it on 36 count Hemingway by Needle and Flax. And I'm stitching with my conversion of MPI silks. So I like to do silks for my Sabbath stitch as much as I can. So yeah, so I've got, in this bag, I've got MPI silks, and I usually have a backup, and I've got them all. I don't know if you can see that. Let me stand on my chair so I can see the screen, but see, I've got them a little wound up there on the side. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. I don't get as much time. I don't know how my schedule has changed, but I used to get a lot of time to stitch on Sundays, but I just really don't anymore. But I still really like to just keep these for stitching on the Sabbath. And so it's a little bit slower progress, but it's not a race. That doesn't bother me. I'd rather just enjoy stitching these on Sunday, keeping that tradition, and whatever progress it is, and just enjoy it. And then when it's finished, I'll frame it, and then I'll start another one. I do have like 3 in my mind that I would love to start, so we'll see which one it actually ends up being once I finish this one. All right, so this one you've seen before as well, and getting ready to pull it out again because this is something that Christy and I are stitching together. And so I have made progress on it since my last floss tube. This is pumpkin season. And we started this at Christy's house a couple of summers ago. And then we just stitch on it together, you know, when we get together, when we're able to, which is never often enough. But, you know, that's how it is with all of us, right? Let me set that there. And I'm just using my MPI silk conversion. I don't know why I showed you those. Those are my backups. I always pull all the threads that I want, and then I put backups in the back because I'm afraid I'm going to run out. But so there's all my threads, and I've talked about that before. I talked to you and showed you what I was using in my past floss tubes. But isn't that going to be fun? I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to put some other words in there. I don't know what I'm going to put in place of these words, but Christy's waiting on me to do that too, so that we can be twinners, you know. So whatever I put in mind, she says she's going to copy me, and that's perfectly fine. So, but I got to get going on it. But we'll talk about that, I'm sure, when she gets here. Isn't it fun to have stitchy friends? I have so much fun planning for, you know, when she comes, and it really gets me going, meaning, you know, getting more organized, pulling out what we're going to work on together instead of just grabbing a bag and stitching like I normally do. I have a little bit more organization. So, okay, so this is a WIP you've seen before that I did make progress on. This is And Heaven and Nature Sing. Not finished yet, but I'm not too far. This one is, let me find the cover, by Patriotic. That's what it looks like. And I am stitching this on 36 count weathered by Number 12 Stitch Company, and I am stitching with NPI silks, again doing the silks for this one. So haven't pulled this out since the winter time, but again, I like to put the silks on my floss flowers and in a separate bag. It just really, oh wait, I just noticed a Gloriana in there. Yeah, so I am stitching with NPI silks, but I'm using the Gloriana Schoolhouse Red for the red. So, and so I'll pull that out and get going. I got to get my fall stitching out and start on that. Usually in August is when I start my fall stitching. So we're almost getting time. And then I'll move back into a little bit more of my winter stitching. But I try to, on the 25th of each month, stitch some Christmas. And I have been able to a little bit here and there, but my schedule has just been kind of crazy. Since I moved, it's hard to, I don't know what that did. You think my schedule would be the same just because I live in a different place. But, you know, life just evolves sometimes and different things happen. I'm not sure if I have any more progress on this Dasher and Dancer, but I wanted to show it to you. And this is by Hobby House. Let me find it, find the picture. This is by Hobby House Press. This is Dasher and Dancer. And I am stitching on 36 count brown sugar by Fiber on a Whim, and I'm using the Gloriana Silk Blythe Green. And I just love that on this linen. So yeah, haven't forgotten about that. Continue on with that. You know how we are, sometimes we put more love into one stitch as compared to the other, depending on what month it is. But I'm still continuing on, and all of these WIPs that I'm showing you still are not all of my WIPs, of course, obviously, but these are kind of the ones that are in the forefront for me. Now, these are new WIPs that I have not shown you, but that I have started since my last FlossTube. And this is the Noel sampler, and I think all of these, Christy and I started together. So I've really been trying not to do a lot of new starts. I've been trying to do a lot of finishing, as you can tell, and I think I've done a pretty good dent in my finishing. But we started this I think we started it in January, and that's as far as I got. But this is the Noel sampler, and I am stitching it on, and it's by Brenda Gervais. I'm stitching it on, let's see, let me grab my card and grab my flosses. Oh, these are so fun. Okay, so this is Frog Gray by Manny Di Donna. I'm not sure. Look, that's the right spelling right there, but I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation and where I even got it, actually. But that's what was in my stash. Who knows? It could be new or it could be old that I've had for a long time. But I love it. I think it's going to look great with this. And I'm using the DMCs that are called for, and I put them on these cute Floss Drops by Thread Milk. Remember I told you these are the milk caps that Lori makes, and I used to make these years ago, but she does a much better job and much more professional looking, and they're so cute. And so I got a couple of the Christmas sets and put all of the DMCs on there that I'm using for that, and that's fun. So that's what's going on there. And then this is another one. This was a gift from Christy. Look at this bag. This is from French General Fabric, and she She gifted me this. This is the Strawberry Cottage. It's a sewing roll, and this is the start that we got. We started it a while ago, and then I put it away, you know, so that I could get some finishes done and get them framed. But that's my progress on that. And this is by Stacy Nash. Love, love Stacy Nash. And yes, I'm going to finish it into a sewing roll. Love that. I think this is so cute. Look at the pot of flowers down there and how they grow clear up. Love it. So that's going to be fun. Thank you, Christy. Now this one is Merrily We Welcome Spring, and we started this on the first day of spring. This is by Blackbird Designs, and I am using, I did the whole entire border, and I am using all of the called for flosses, it looks like. Let me put those there. Let me read my card and see if I said anything different. Maybe I won't read a card because, again, where did I put my card? Don't have my card, but I do have written in here my chart, what I'm stitching on, and it's 36 count vintage light exemplar by Lake House Linens. And so this one and the next one I'm going to show you, I did something crazy that I've never done before, is I finished both of the borders on this one and the next one, which is the band sampler. I'll show you that, because I had 2 frames in mind already that I wanted. And so I thought that if I didn't want to, I was worried that they were going to go out of stock in Hobby Lobby like they do sometimes. They'll go out of stock for a couple of months and then come back in. And I thought, I'm just going to get the borders done so I can take them in and order the frames. And the one that I wanted for this is a darker wood. And so I know it's going to look good. I mean, normally you would finish your stitch, right? And then go pick your frame that looks nice with your stitch. But with all of the colors and Blackbird that I'm used to, you know, it's going to go. And so I went ahead. So I've got the frame for it. I just need to finish it, right? So does that give me incentive? I hope so. So that's that one. And then here's the next one that I was talking about. And this is the band sampler that I told you about last time, but did not show you a start, by Samplers Not Forgotten. And let me just show you what I have. I have to unfold the whole thing because you'll have to see the bottom half. It's a long one. Let me put it sideways. So, of course, this is the top here. So I finished the entire border. So the frame that I had picked for that is a big, chunky, off-white wooden carved frame. It's like, it's chunky, it's wide, and I just thought it would be gorgeous on this. And so that was the one I was really worried about it going out of stock. And sometimes those frames are not easy to find, the ones that you fall in love with. And so I knew it would be perfect for this. And so that's what I did. I worked on the borders of both of those so that I could get the frames ordered. And let me tell you the info on this and show you what it looks like. So this is English Garden, and by Samplers Not Forgotten. And so I'll probably just keep, you know, working down on this side, maybe do a few motifs on this side, but it looks really fun to stitch. So far it has been. I can just work my way down. I can't wait to get to this little pot of flowers here, this little urn of flowers. I think that's going to be fun. So let's see. So what I chose to stitch it on is 36 count vintage homespun by R&R Linen. And I'm using some, I started out with some of the called for, and then, you know me, I substituted. I did this dark blue because I don't think that's called for. No, because this is the color of the accent wall in my bedroom, this dark, and this is going to go in my bedroom. And so I just kind of started substituting things out that would go in my bedroom more and that would look nice on the linen. And so that's what I've got going on here. So really it's just this dark blue and then all pinks and greens with blue accent, which I think is going to be fun. So I'm excited to continue on with that. And when Christy gets here, again, we'll probably work on that together, because this is, I think, the last of the ones that I'm showing you that her and I are doing together. We do some things that are not together, believe it or not, but we end up doing a lot of the same things, and so we end up just doing them together and at the same time and making plans. Now this last WIP, I want to show you that this is something that I've been wanting to start for a long time. It's a series, but I wanted to finish my garden series before I started this. And so here's my start on it, on my first one. And these are, my friend Susie made this bag for me. Thank you, Susie. And these are by Scattered Seed Samplers, which is Tammy Black. And so that's what I'm doing there. And she has a club on her website that I belong to. And so this all comes kitted. So look how cute it comes in these little, like she gives you the threads and cute little stuff that goes with it. And then like the fabric to finish the back of the pillows. But they're all pin keeps, you know, or pillows or whatever you want to say. I keep my threads in that little bag. And I'm not really doing them in any particular order. I think I picked this one up because it was the first one that I had bought in the series, but I don't know if I'll do them in order. I'm going to do them all, so, but let me just show them to you. I'm going to, well, I don't really want to take them out of the package, so I'll try to make it not glary. And so these are all the kits. All these ones that I'm showing you are the kits, but that she puts together so beautifully. And I love that I can just grab it and start stitching, right? And, but I have since, when I pulled this out a few days ago and got started on it, I went back on her website because I knew there were some patterns of hers that had birds in them that I hadn't purchased. And I'm like, I'm going to do all the birds. I'm going to do all Tammy Black birds. And so that's what I've got in the bag. And I made the order, just haven't received them yet. So, but they're all going to go in this bag for the series, and that's going to be fun. I love birds. I enjoy watching the birds. This house, we have much bigger windows, so we have a better view of the birds, and Mr. Honey loves them too. He goes through a lot of bird seed every week. We've got a lot of bird feeders, and I really love listening to them, watching them, you know, waking up to their singing. And so I'm really excited. I have an old basket that's like over 100 years old, that's woven, hand woven, and it's pretty big. And I'd like to put all of those pillows inside that basket. I think that'd be fun for display. And so that's all of my stitching. And these are some of my starts that I'm going to tell you about. So this one lives in this cute bag with the threads. These are my pairs that I never did start. Keep talking about it. There's a few starts that I'm still wanting to do, but just never have. But Christy said, when I come this time, we're actually going to stitch on the pairs so that you can get started, because Christy already started on hers and has some of them finished, and I haven't even started. So these are Annie B's pairs, and I love them. Love them so much, Annie. And so I'm actually going to get started on those. So that's what lives in there. And then, let's see, I can't remember what's in here. Oh yes, this is the Stacy Nash. This is the Spring Chickens pin keep. Okay, there's my thread bag. I have not picked my linen. I have my threads, and as soon as I pick the linen for my stash, but look how cute that is. I've got to have those chickens in that pin keep and put it in my kitchen, my farmhouse kitchen downstairs. But isn't that sweet? I love that little chicken coop and the hens, and I love everything about it, all the colors. So I will be doing that. And then I actually can't remember what's in this bag because I just grabbed it in my pile of things I'm going to be starting. Oh, okay. Here's another one that I keep saying that I'm going to do. I've shown you this several times. And this is the Scarlet House Life on Sampler Hill. I am going to start this. It's going to live in this bag until I start it, and the bag's going to stay in my pile of WIPs, and I'm not going to put it on a different shelf or in a different basket so that it won't be forgotten. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I hope that I didn't ramble on too long. I know I always say that, but I really enjoy sharing my stitching. I like when you guys share your stitching with me. When I have time to watch FlossTube, I just love it. There's just so many beautiful FlossTubes and beautiful stitchers, beautiful designers out there. I mean, we could just stitch forever. We need 400 hands and the 400-year plan, 200-year plan, 300-year, 400 just keeps going up. But I love putting every X in everything. And I have a feeling that you feel the same way and that we're kindred spirits in that. And so I enjoy being able to share with you on my channel. And I thank you so much for joining me, and I will chat with you later.